Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 1-4. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Most High. Therefore thus saith the Most High Power of Israel against the pastors that feed my people, ye have scattered my flock, and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Most High. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. And I will set up shepherds over them which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Most High.
Okay, and someday when this whole thing goes down, when these wars start to break out, these regional wars, and eventually World War III, a lot of people are going to be running to these pastors very upset, because they've had the wool pulled over their eyes, so to speak. Okay.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 8-13. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Most High, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceits, get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. Revelations chapter 21, verse 8. But the fearful, and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars, shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
So that's why it's important. Okay? The other reason it's important is because it's just the truth. We should be a people who speak the truth no matter what.
"100 years later, the Negro is still languishing in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land." Now, have you ever wondered what that passage meant from Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech? I did, and what I found was one of the biggest secrets that's not really a secret at all, except to many African Americans, is they are not descended from Africans. I know, I was shocked too, so much so that I asked Africans, and they agreed African Americans weren't Africans.
This is mainly for the Christians, the white Christians. If they can understand this, and that this book is actually the heritage of the Israelites, and this book is all about the Israelites, and if you know who they are, you will understand the Bible better, and you will understand that what you've been in fact worshiping are pagan or pagan influences under the guise of Christianity. A lot of Christians think that the Roman Catholics, the Roman Catholicism, actually wears the mask of Messiah. But actually, a lot of these denominations in the Christian religion actually have many pagan attributes, because the scripture does say that in the last days, knowledge will be increased. And I'm not talking about cameras and video games and all that. Knowledge, and what the Bible considers knowledge, the truth about scriptures and the truth about the Most High.
In fact, the Jews are in fact black Africans. Okay. Now this is of course all over the internet, all over YouTube.
So is it that you think that the people over in Israel, that those that war-torn land, that those are the true Hebrew Israelites? That in 1948, that's what's God gathering his people and making Israel a nation again? Because no, that ain't going to happen until the end of days when he gathers his people from the four corners of the earth. We're coming in to mix a multitude. Majority of them, they're all white. We got a problem here now. We got a problem. Because you change the people, you most certainly change the message. You change all the prophecy. You change all the prophecy. That's like when people try to interpret Daniel and all these things, they fall off in 1948. Because you put them as the people of the book, such as the Christians put those Jews as the people of the book, as the ancient Israelites. I mean, they're calling Abraham a Jew for crying out loud. Oh, but so hey, I'm going to cut this short. It's just interesting. I don't expect you all to hear me anyway. But you Israelites out there, you be very careful when you have a man in front of you that won't address who the true Hebrew Israelites are. They're up to something. And you know that those people over there in that land of Jerusalem right now, that's a synagogue of Satan being trodden down by the Gentiles. See, you got to know the book. And you change the people, you're changing all perspective and prophecy. And anybody that's supporting those people over there as the people of the book, you watch out, because they're supporting the devil. And that's just the truth.
We got this false, weak Christianity. I said weak Christianity. I didn't say Christianity is wrong. It's just a weak, watered down Christianity that for 400 years preachers have taught what they've been trained to teach and never teaching people who they are. Looking right in the book that's talking about us, but not knowing that it's talking about us. Then we got to study this book. This book is not a religion for us. It is our culture. It's not a religion. It's our culture. I said it's our culture. And so we've been looking around, even as black people, trying to look for who are we. We don't know. This is our culture. This is not a religion, what we're doing like what people do for spirituality. This was a way of life for God's people.
And this is how beautiful it is. And we catch a lot of flack for it. But the gathering of Christ's church through the Spirit of the Most High is that little space within the earth, that little voice that has revealed the name of the Most High God. Ahaya, Hashem Ahaya is his name.
I am the God of your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
From the born of my mother, you are
Isaiah chapter 48, verse 17 to 20. Thus saith the Most High, thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, I am, Ahijah, the Most High, thy power which teacheth thee to profit, which leadeth thee by the way that thou shouldest go. O that thou hadst hearkened to my commandments, then had thy peace been as a river, and thy righteousness as the waves of the sea. Thy seed also had been as the sand, and the offspring of thy bowels like the gravel thereof. His name should not have been cut off nor destroyed from before me. Go ye forth of Babylon, flee ye from the Chaldeans, with a voice of singing declare ye, tell this, utter it even to the end of the earth, say ye, the Most High hath redeemed his servant Jacob.
We've suffered slavery. They've placed guns, drugs, hatred all amongst our people, trying to disconnect us from our God. They've flooded our neighborhoods with religion, made Arabs our masters with Islam, Roman Catholics who've enslaved us, taught us lies from our Bible to the point where our people don't even want to read it because we can't relate to it. We don't believe it's us. They lie and claim the book was only written by men. They lie. They lie. Brothers and sisters, if you know you are the children of Israel, you know your portion. You went into captivity. Why? The Bible tells us, if we read it, our fathers were accursed and went against the laws of the Most High God. And the Most High fulfilled his word by sending us into captivity. Deuteronomy 28. They don't want you to read the Bible because they know you are the people that was prophesied to go into the last captivity through cargo slave ships. Now, the Most High has begun to free us. He's begun to free us. So what did they do? When they realized the Most High was looking to free us through the Spirit of Christ, like he freed us out of the hands of Pharaoh, they began to flood our neighborhoods with drugs. They began to make us drunk, feed us philosophy. They pit the man against the woman against the man. Targeted our children, used vaccines to kill our children under eugenics. And the Bible says, who will rise up with me against the workers of iniquity? Someone had to stand up and put their lives on the line like Christ put his life on the line. And that's all of you. This is not a religion. We are the people of the Bible. We are Christ. We are Moses. We are Isaiah, Jeremiah. We are the disciples. This is our book. And there's an open invitation to any author or Jewish historian who would like to debate that matter publicly.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 4 to 7. In those days, and in that time, saith the Most High, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together. Going and weeping, they shall go, and seek the Most High their power. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, Come, and let us join ourselves to the Most High, in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray.
Why teach the law when they can't keep the law?
I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you celebrate Christmas?
How do you know that the Bible is true?
They have turned them away on on the mountains, they have gone from mountain to hill, they have forgotten their resting place. All that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, We offend not, because they have sinned against the Most High, the habitation of justice, even the Most High, the hope of their fathers.
Now, what mountains was the Lord talking about? Alright, this is off of Wikipedia. It's called the Atlas Mountains. After 70 AD, that's when the mass majority of our people went into Africa. They went into Africa, they went into Asia, and they went into Europe, but they mainly went into Africa, okay?
Let me tell you, brothers and sisters, we are not from Africa, okay? Our homeland is Jerusalem. We fled into Africa, and now the Gentiles have assumed and pitched tent in our homeland. We moved into Africa, running from what? Roman persecution, just like Christ said we would. And I don't understand why Christians, those that follow Christ, will not take heed to the prophecy of the wilderness, of how Christ warned our people against imperialistic Rome. Read.
Start at St. Luke chapter 21 verse 19.
Go ahead.
In your patience possess ye your souls.
It says, in your patience possess ye your souls. That means you can't panic. You must use patience and wisdom with the understanding. Read.
Verse 20. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
When you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
Then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Know that the desolation is near.
Then let them which are in Judea.
And the Jews which were living in Judea, the stock of Abraham living in Judea. Read.
Flee to the mountains.
Flee to the mountains. So where did they flee? They flee into the Atlas Mountains around Africa, around Morocco. And eventually they went into Africa. Once certain parts was cut off, because certain areas was cut off by Moab and Ammon. So they had to go around the mountains of Morocco into Africa. Now, there's no history anywhere showing European Jewish people fleeing into Africa. So who are these Jews? Who are the people that fulfill this prophecy? The people who survived the siege and lived and populated the Africa we know today. See that? Now all of them didn't stay over there. All of them didn't stay there. See? Some of them fulfilled this prophecy. And I'm saying this because I know we have people who are in the church, pastors who are listening, who follow the lessons. So we know that the children of Israel is in Africa, and that's why at the very end they put up what? A black president. Not because he controlled anything. Barack Obama doesn't do anything. But he was the face that would be utilized so that the Western world, Rome, could come in and take down Africa and finish the siege that began with this prophecy. So that's why they're over there in Africa now under Africa. Not to help the Africans, to finish what the Romans didn't finish in 70 AD. Now, we, the children of those Africans, there was a prophecy that we would go into other places. Now the Most High scattered us in other places originally, you understand, based on the sins of our forefathers. He said that if we didn't listen, he would scatter Israel throughout the four corners of the earth. In a way, it became a saving grace because they couldn't destroy us all in one place. They would need to set up a new world order to identify us through bloodline and destroy us all at once because we were scattered. That's what the New World Order is about. That's what the One World Order is.
Before us, the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founder.
And British Prime Minister Gordon today calling for a new world order to tackle our global economic crisis.
The affirmative task we have now is to actually create a new world order.
Its task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity.
My investigations led me to look at the back of the American dollar, and I found these strange seals on the dollar here. They're Illuminati seals, which was a secret society set up in 1776 by a man called Adam Weishaupt. And on the back of the dollar here, you see the seal on the left-hand side, and there's an eye in the triangle. It's the eye of Horus in Egyptian mythology, now called the eye of Lucifer or Satan. Annua Chaptus stand for announcing the birth of, and down the bottom, Novus Ordo Seclorum.
And that great seal of the United States has on it Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new order.
And thus we see we're dealing with a Luciferian plan. And people need to recognize the God of Freemasonry will lead the world into this peculiar and particular purpose for which America was set up, which is to lead the whole world system into a one world government, a one world religion, a one world law system, and a one world money system that the Bible calls the mark of the beast.
Revelations 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
So if you don't worship this image, you shall be killed. Satan have prepared an image in this world. How a family should be, how you should worship, where you should worship. Okay? They're even trying to stop people from converting others from the religion you were born in. They're trying to pass laws to stop you from converting people. So there's a worship in the earth. And everyone have to worship this image. Okay? It's the image or the dream or the American dream that's being pushed all through the earth. The Western world dream. Read.
And he calls them all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand.
To do what?
Receive a mark in their right hand.
So, in Satan's society, because the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, whether you small or great, rich or poor, free or bond, doesn't matter if you are in jail or out on the street, you'll be forced to get this mark. Now, when you go into the Greek word for receive, okay, that word when you translate it is a badge of servitude. So it's a form of identity, a badge of servitude when you break down receive in the Greek. Okay? It's your acceptance to a satanic system. And without it, you cannot operate in it. Satan is not going to be taking care of those that's trying to take him out or trying to take his kingdom down. So he have his livestock chipped. Okay? He have his system all chipped and everybody's marked. And you have to be down to operate in his system. Receive means badge of servitude. Mark. When you translate mark in the Greek, it's etched as the skin. Etched in the skin. So John wrote this a little after Christ's time. There's no way he could have known about any technology through a digital angel that would be put in people's skin or under their skin. The technology wasn't in existence during that time.
I can't believe he just paid with his hand. Like, you just literally put your hand up and you're good to go. Like, that's crazy.
Hi, my name is Charlie Warzel. I'm a senior writer with BuzzFeed News. And in order to see what the future of money looks like, I decided to live for a month just paying for things with my phone. And somewhere along the line, I ended up getting a microchip implanted inside my hand to see if I could be the first person in the world to pay for something out in the real world using just their hand. A couple weeks into my experiment, I ended up going to Sweden. Sweden happens to be way far ahead of the United States when it comes to getting rid of cash. I ended up meeting with some people who are really active in the biohacking community and found that you could actually implant an RFID NFC chip in your hand.
So take a deep breath with me and exhale.
And so I figured if I could put it in my hand, maybe I'd be able to pay for something with my hand.
That was it. Breathe.
Yeah.
Keep breathing.
How's it feel?
It's like pinchy. It definitely hurt like way more than they said it was going to. It looks sort of like a grain of rice or like a pill that's in my hand.
My hand is paying for everything today.
If the wallet is here and your phone is sort of a healthy middle ground, something like the chip felt to me like the furthest possible extreme of futuristic technology. I would bet that in about 10 years, it's kind of abnormal to carry around a wallet that's just stuffed full of cash.
To let you know that the Bible prophecies are true and we're living in the last days of Revelation. And it says, what cause? What's the cause? The fear of terrorism.
I've never seen any, it looks like a movie. I saw a large plane, like a jet, go immediately, headed directly into the World Trade Center. It just flew into it, into the other tower, coming from south to north. I watched the plane fly into the World Trade Center. It was a jet. It was a very large plane. It was going fast.
Put people in fear. And they'll go to their government to protect them. On TV, you see nothing but fear, 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 fear. Be afraid. We can protect you. And it's linking you to the mark. Aren't you afraid your child is going to get stolen? Aren't you afraid that your loved one might get lost? Aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid that a terrorist might come and do something to you? Aren't you afraid? We can protect you, but you have to be down with us. Get our identification. Accept the mark of the beast. The beast is Satan. That's the beast. And the Lord told us that the deception would come through those claiming to be Christ. Many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. So in Christianity, they're deceiving the people by saying what? By saying that you don't have to worry about it because the Antichrist have to be revealed first before the chip. But it's in reverse. The chip will be revealed by the Antichrist system. Okay? Now, this is an article from New York Times. Okay? This way, you cannot think that we're dealing with some sources that are not reparable. So you can't think that we're not dealing with reputable sources. This article, let me put this over here. This article is in the New York Times. It says, report of cancer hurts maker of chip implants. Shares of Applied Digital Solutions. That's another company that's linked with Verichip and Digital Angel. And its publicly traded subsidiary, Verichip, which makes an implanted microchip for identifying people, fell sharply yesterday as investors reacted to a report this weekend linking the tiny radio device to cancer. Let's go to Revelation 16 and 1 and 2.